You know how I allegedly doxed him? By him publicly commenting with his real name on his Instagram under Clyde shit. Noodles might be interested in this as well. So, I thought Parrot was in on the Cold War, so I was starting to dig up information on Parrot, right?
Mm-hmm.
And let me just tell you, certain individual was able to give his full name right off the bat, and I was like, what the f? So I actually know Parrot's full name because of this individual. Like define talking shit. Define talking shit.
You just went out.
Define talking shit. You said it's not, so define it. You need to Google something colloquial, nigga?
Nobody out.
Do you need to Google something colloquial, nigga? You okay? Just define it. I said, is Narciverse Ichigo canceled? If not, why is the Patreon page is gone? I already talked about this. What do you mean it's sus, bitch? I talked about this on stream 4 times. The f you talking about, sus, you dumbass motherfucker?
Jesus.
Bitch, anyone that watches my stream would know I've already talked about canceling it. What? I literally made a Patreon post for a month straight saying it was. Bitch, what? That's pretty sus, man. Shut the f up. No, you mean the girl who cheated on the girl who cheated on him and sent nudes to his coworker, and then he got back with her.
Oh, what am I missing?
Hey guys, I know this video is probably coming as a surprise to you, and honestly it's a surprise to me as well, because I didn't actually know if I would ever drop a video like this. This video is pretty serious and intense at quite a few points, because I'm going to be describing basically my relationship with SethTheProgrammer and the things he did to me and my friends. For those that don't know, I used to be friends with Seth and was a researcher and scriptwriter for him at times a few years ago. In fact, I wrote and researched entire videos for him, but we had a very public falling out that I'm sure many of you have seen. I do want to be straightforward with you guys from the get-go. I refuse to lie about something this serious. I refuse to badmouth and slander people. I'm a person with pretty strict moral principles, and I abide by them for the most part. That being said, some of the things I'm going to talk about in this video are anecdotal. A lot of the stories I will be describing to you guys happened when I was a teenager and before I had a PC, so I didn't have the capability to record calls back then, but I also do have a lot of recordings and tons of screenshots to back up many of the claims I'll be making. Seth will inevitably call this video slander, but the fact of the matter is, this is not slander if it happened and it's true. A lot of people questioned why I didn't make this video sooner, and to answer that is basically because Seth had threatened to get his YouTube management team to delete my channel, and he had threatened to get me banned off Discord. Six also backs this up in this screenshot here, where he directly says that Seth was trying to get me removed from YouTube. Seth admitted he would blanket my quote-unquote exposed video with his audience if I did try to release it, which is exactly what happened when Seth released his Twitch stream slandering me with Clyde. The Clyde situation is more complicated, and he didn't really say anything that bothered me. What really bothered me was the fact that Seth was actually stopping me and Clyde from being friends, and Clyde was even forced to do this stream to begin with because of his ties with Seth at the time. All he actually said about me was that I didn't respond to his DM prior to the Swag Kage debate, which is honestly just a really minor and insignificant critique, and it was actually later explained to me that the only reason he even made this comment was so Seth didn't cause issues with him in their relationship. Clyde later showed me that he was forced by Seth to delete me from his friends list simply because of how paranoid Seth was. This same paranoia from Seth would again be exposed later in his Discord DMs with Omar, the head animator of the Narutoverse Ichigo project, where Seth once again was trying to get Omar to cut ties and connections with me and Surfbone, calling us, quote, liars and his harassers. What's interesting about this specific comment is the fact that I have actually made zero response or efforts to come at Seth about this drama until now. I haven't even messaged Seth since our public falling out. Seth actually was the one who messaged me calling me a pussy and trying to get me to drop this quote-unquote exposed video that I was allegedly supposed to be dropping a year ago. He once again threatened to annihilate me and another YouTuber named Webcam Parrot in his DM as well. Like I said before, this video is going to be intense. So if you guys aren't comfortable with topics in relation to doxing, SA, PEDO, bullying, abuse, slurs, and other RACISM, I'd suggest going ahead and clicking off the video. But for those who are able to handle those subjects, you'll want to see what comes next. As I said before, I was a researcher and close friend of Seth for years. I played games for hours with him, I helped him create and run servers, I wrote scripts for him, I talked Naruto for an ungodly amount of time with him, hopped in the call whenever he asked, debated people whenever he asked. I helped him construct multiple arguments and did tons of work for him for free without charge. I defended him from numerous people that tried to attack him. He would go so far as to use me as like this little debate weapon when I was 17 to debate people that he didn't want to debate himself. He tried to get me to debate Ask Yourself and Trini and another debater named Jack Angstrike who Seth was afraid to debate. What he would do is if I won the debate, he would say that, well, because he's a better debater than me, that means I would beat them too. So, you can see why this is wrong for a lot of reasons. And this wasn't only just me. He did this sort of thing with other Discord users like Aeroflame, Jordy, Webcam Parrot. More than anything though, I was loyal to him. I have a mindset where if I consider you my friend, I will do anything and everything I can to help you, and especially if it's a situation where you're threatened. An example of this is the Surfbone situation, where people like Aeroflame and Seth were privately recording calls and running with this false narrative that Surfbone was a rapist. Not going to go too heavy into details about this because Surfbone actually made his own video about the situation, and you guys should definitely go and check that story out after this. Link will be in the description. A brief summary of what happened is basically me and Surfbone were in a call with Seth inside of his private server, and Surfbone told the story of his first ever sexual experience to us. And basically, Surfbone and another girl got drunk on a camping trip, and she ended up in his tent later in the night and asked him if he wanted to have sex. And they did. Seth recorded this conversation without either me or Surfbone's consent, and then he uploaded the recording to a public chat inside of Arrow's server called the Thunderdome, and basically construed the whole event as Surfbone was having sex with drunk girls, thereby making him a rapist. Needless to say, I thought this entire accusation was complete bullshit, and I actually debated Seth on the topic in my DMs, and got him to admit he didn't think Surfbone was an RIPIST, and that he actually just wanted to bully Surfbone off of personal whim, and even conceded to me that his decision to attack Surfbone was not because he was a RAPIST, but rather because he thought he was a liar, and also described his willingness to expose Surfbone as both a subjective and arbitrary reason to do so. I don't have to describe this to you guys very much in depth, but this just shows the character Seth has. He's willing to bully and attack you if he doesn't like you, and that's just how he is. He's always been that way, and he'll always be that way. Seth had actually talked to me in calls prior to the Thunderdome altercation where he told me verbatim that he thought Surfbone was lying and that he was a loser for doing it. I beat Seth in this debate and got him to apologize to Surfbone for doxing his face and making fun of him during the massive call and witch trial they did on Surfbone inside of the Thunderdome. The aftermath of this quote-unquote trial of Surfbone was tons of people started falsely labeling him as a rapist, and I ended up debating tons of people on why he wasn't and defended him anytime I heard someone say those things. Seth and Omar's DM even accused me of being a RAPIST recently, I guess because I defended Surfbone, and he also accused me of being a PEDO in the past as well, which is extremely ironic considering these claims are entirely baseless, and Seth himself has tons of pedophilic accusations against himself that actually have evidence backing them up. Especially from people who have been silenced by Seth, he managed to sweep everything under the rug. Like, for example, something a lot of you may not know is Seth attempted to groom an underage boy who later then kept the screenshots to show people. This also seems to be consistent with Seth's character because back in 2018, Seth had multiple gay underage moderators in a server, specifically people like Stellar, Lucy, and Doggo. Doggo wasn't gay, but he was a minor, and he used to actively post nude pictures of himself inside of Seth's server, where it was known that he had tons of underage kids hanging out. Seth used to make a lot of homophobic comments like this, and gave himself a role called heterosexual alpha male. To me, Seth's rapist and pedo accusations seem like Seth is just projecting his feelings of himself at me, but the major takeaway here is that Seth is willing to privately record people and spread misinformation about you as long as it suits the narrative he is trying to present, misinformation that has potentially life-altering damage as well. False accusations are by far the most scummy and damaging label you can attach to somebody. These are the bottom of the barrel of society. Nobody is considered worse than them. I think we all know that if you had to go to jail for a crime, rape or being a pedophile are definitely the two you don't want to go to jail for. I am one of those people that believe if you do falsely accuse someone of a crime and it's proven you have falsely accused someone, you should get the same or at least a considerable punishment for it as well. It's unfair that people just go without punishment for false accusations, considering the potential ruining of somebody's life and relationships. What Seth did to Surfbone is slander and defamation of his character in probably the worst way imaginable. Sex offenders are cretins to society, and for Seth to be willing to spread this lie about him, full well knowing it could ruin his life and career, is disgusting. Just the accusation alone, no proof necessary, is enough to irreparably damage somebody's reputation. Seth manipulating the situation here is a gross use of his audience and social stature and needs to be called out along with the rest of his manipulation as well. In screenshots with the Surfbone situation, Seth directly says to me multiple times that he does not believe Surfbone is a rapist, yet in his DMs with Arrow, which funnily enough, Arrow exposed himself by opening them up on recording and posting the video publicly. Here you can see Arrow and Seth talking to each other, and you can see Seth sending Arrow links to California laws, Surfbone's home state at the time, and telling Arrow that if he uses those laws, he can objectively prove to Parrot that Surfbone is a rapist, and even goes so far to suggest to Arrow that if he can find out who the alleged victim's boyfriend was, he could totally get Surfbone in real trouble IRL. You can also see Seth warning me and Surfbone not to ever speak about this topic anymore, and that Surfbone is in, quote, real trouble. You can also see that even in the screenshot, Seth is trying to put the blame on everybody else but him, despite the fact he is the one trying to manipulate the situation behind the scenes. Seth refuses to take accountability, despite the fact he lied in my DM about calling Surfbone a rapist, yet was in other people's DM trying to convince them to argue that Surfbone was objectively a rapist. This idea goes even further here. You can see in my debate with Seth, he used Jade the Doxer, who at the time was underage, as an argument for why he exposed Surfbone. He claims that Jade felt, quote, uncomfortable with Surfbone's comments, and that he was actually the major factor pushing him to drop the recording. This is actually just a bald-faced lie though, as Jade actually sent me his DMs with Seth when they themselves had their own falling out. In this screenshot, you can see Seth telling Jade, quote, "Hey, this is the story. Say Surfbone made you uncomfortable." Seth would then try to use this as justification for why he recorded. But the truth is actually Seth just didn't like Surfbone. He just wanted to bully him. He admitted this. He wanted to bully him based on personal whim. After Seth coerced Arrow into arguing Surfbone was a rapist, Arrow went on to debate Parrot, and this is basically how that went.
Because you wouldn't man up and admit that you were f***ing wrong.
Alright, are you ready, Parrot?
You know, when the chicks were actually f***ing
Are you ready, Parrot?
pussy
I'm
was after, you came to me and said in a similar situation, and Noodle's in irrelevant Discord situation.
I'm getting sick of you. I'm getting sick of you, Parrot. I'm getting sick of you, Parrot.
Where
I'm getting sick of you. I'm so tired of listening to you, Parrot. I'm so sick of you, Parrot.
He was the lesser man for not stepping up. You wouldn't even step up when you would up on a massive scale and had pushed a witch hunt against something, against somebody.
Right.
You didn't even know the story correctly.
Right.
And you had absolutely no business.
Are you ready to listen, Parrot?
You did about
Are you ready to listen, Parrot?
That is the problem.
Are you ready to listen, Parrot?
And it's not.
Are you ready to listen?
Primary perpetrator.
Shut up. Are you
You are a large perpetrator.
Okay. You're
I also debated Arrow myself, and while I won't go into the details because anyone that wants to watch the debate is more than welcome to, you can go to the description of this video and find where me and Arrow debated. Spencer, who is the insanely biased judge or moderator, uploaded the debate to his channel and actually turned off the comments because both Arrow and Spencer were receiving massive backlash from the way they behaved during the recording. I got Arrow to drop 99% of his evidence during the debate because it wasn't California law, and I also got Arrow to admit that the only things he knows for sure is that the girl Surfbone slept with was drunk, and he knew nothing else, which proves he both didn't know if Surfbone was too drunk to consent and if Surfbone was actually the one who asked for consent. Not say that his decision making is 100%. You have no proof that it was.
Okay, he believes that, but there's nothing to corroborate it. Like,
okay, do you
the
have
only
any proof
thing,
that he wasn't inebriated to that extent?
Hush, I'm in the middle of talking, big dog.
Go ahead.
The only thing that he has, the only thing that we know for a fact, the only person that we know for a fact had their decision making altered by alcohol is the girl. True or false?
True.
Okay, so by what we know, by the facts, he f***ed a girl who was so drunk that she could not consent. He was drunk to some degree that we don't know.
I've been letting you go point by point, so can I respond to that?
You can go ahead.
If
Tyler.
you want me, if
Okay.
you want me to moderate
Hold on.
point by point, I will.
It's
Then just-
fine, Spencer. It's whatever. I think I got him now. So yeah, you said that the only thing we know is that she was drunk to this extent, and we don't know if Surfbone for sure was. So what you're telling me is you don't actually know if Surfbone her or not, because you don't know if he was drunk to that extent. So you cannot say he's a confirmed rapist. You just competed, bro.
Dog. Are
But that's
you
the only thing we know. We
No,
don't
no, no,
know
no, no,
anything
no,
else,
no.
right?
Noodles, if you want me to
I'm still
respond,
talking. I'm still
I'll
talking.
go ahead.
Oh,
you're
wait.
still talking fat.
Rhetorical
Be
question.
quiet.
So
You
go
Arrow,
ahead,
could you
Fat
please?
Ass.
be
Yeah,
quiet?
ahead.
yeah. So what you just told me was that you don't know anything other than the girl was drunk to that extent. So that means you don't know that Surfbone is not also drunk to that extent. So you cannot say for a fact he is a rapist. You are self-conceding in that one sentence. Thank you for being a f***ing retard.
I just love how big and fat and dumb Noodles is. Because Spencer, tell me what, did I not just say the only thing that we know for a fact is that that girl was drunk beyond the point that she could consent? Is that not
That
what I
is in
just
fact
said?
what you said.
I didn't say that we don't know how drunk Surfbone is. He was drunk to some degree that we don't know, right?
You don't know for a fact how drunk he is, so you can't prove anything.
No, Noodles. I don't know
You got
Noodles.
caught, buddy.
what you keep
You
doing.
got f***ing caught. Bro. You don't know
Noodles.
if actually he was drunk or not.
I even broke Arrow down to a point where he started claiming that they had each other.
Okay, as I was saying, bruh, like,
Come on.
this all comes down to you having like a let's say
waiting for this death recording, bro.
worst case scenario, Nudies. Let's say absolute worst case scenario. They both had sex with someone who couldn't consent. That just means that they're both rapists. They both each other. If at any point you have sex with someone who can't consent, you them.
Which is hilarious considering the debate was about the legality of Surfbone being a rapist, and nowhere ever has there ever been a case where a victim was also considered a rapist because both parties were drunk. Like, that just doesn't make sense. Either way though, I smashed Arrow so badly in the debate that he literally just started exposing a bunch of private information about me that Seth had actually leaked to him. More specifically, information revolved around probably the darkest time in my life. Arrow openly talked about my depression at this time that I had kept secret from the public as a result of Seth exposing it to him. After me and Seth had our huge blowout argument, Seth tried to get me into a server where him, Six, and Arrow would proceed to publicly expose this private information about me. Seth is a self-admitted instigator and manipulator, and has manipulated me and my friends on numerous occasions. Just to name a few, he has manipulated me into debating multiple times. Here's a specific example where Seth forced me to debate No Luck in his private server, where I specifically told him I didn't want to debate.
Am I good to stop recording, or are y'all gonna go at it?
I'm gonna debate. What's this thing? What's this thing going on?
What thing?
What? So you think Kappa won this debate with?
Oh my god. Alright, I'm gonna have to get on Seth's for exposing that shit. No, I'm not debating you right now. We can debate later about it.
Just said that they made a mistake, and by a mistake, we just mean they mistook it for it being racist.
Not a mistake. I never brought up anything about a mistake. I'm telling you, if I go on the street and call an African American man the N-word, the hard ER, you can beat the crap out of me because the statement in itself is a mistake.
But you've already agreed that it's not.
As soon as the shouting match was over, I DM'd him and told him to never do that again, because this is something he has done to me in the past, and I refuse to allow Seth to use my unwanted conflicts and drama with other people as entertainment. What makes the situation even worse is Seth didn't even listen to the debate at all. He just instigated it for no reason, then left. He literally just wanted to see the result of who won the debate, because Seth has this weird value towards debating, and all he really wants to know in the situation is who is the better debater. He pressured Clyde and Chuck to follow this behavior, but Clyde always found it super cringe. He did this with Parrot and Swagkage as well. Parrot actually stopped being friends with Seth after the Surfbone situation. He did this with me and Six, and after Six lost me, he actually started shitting on him and was legitimately pissed because he lost the debate.
The opposite. I'm Team Minato.
Huh?
What? You said
what?
Dude, I literally said I was the general of Minato. Did you not hear me earlier, you card? Like, was that not? Dude, I literally just said it to Noodle. Like, I'm the pioneer of Minato. I'm the one who pioneered all his arguments. Like, your argument for days Minato came from me, you rat f***. Like, you literally stole it from me.
No, they what?
I literally pioneered them publicly years ago, you d***ass. What are you talking about? It's public. I have millions of views on the
video. What are you talking about? Like,
but how am I supposed to know you?
how am I
pioneered
supposed to know that you pioneered the topic when you have a 3 million view video on it, like literally
How am I
before
supposed to
anybody
know-
in the Discord community ever made an argument on the topic?
How am I supposed to know? that you
Wait, it's a
pioneered the
rationalist
base?
argument. It's not empirical. It's a rationalist argument. It's literally rational. So it's like you can't say, "Oh, prove it objectively." Prove it objectively. It's irrational.
Sure,
Like
that's
all of the
fine. I'm not
community
saying
basically
prove
learned the topic from me. So prove it. Yeah.
I'm not saying prove objective.
So you said it was a relative.
That.
So wait, stick on the topic then. So why is it relative? Why is it a
Why is
relative
what
topic?
relative?
You said Toby Ron versus Minato is a relative topic. Why?
It's somebody recording.
When did I say that?
You literally said it earlier. You said it was hard to gauge. Like
I don't remember saying that.
you said it was a good debate. I don't think it's a good debate at all. Why is it a good debate?
Noodle said it was a good debate.
No, you did as well. Like you literally agreed. You said it. You literally said it.
Hold on. When Noodle said it, did I go? Yeah. Did I just say that?
There are zero arguments. There are zero like good arguments in favor of Toby Rama winning.
Sure. That's whatever. I don't want to argue for Toby Rama anyway.
Why? You said it was relative earlier.
Oh my god. I just don't want to argue for him.
We'll do it. You said
I don't
it's
remember. I don't even remember saying that.
relative. You did say it.
It's whatever. I don't care. I'll argue.
Do it then. Little boy.
So is the argument? wait. Just to be clear for the recording, is the argument that there's a big gap between the two and that they're relative versus that they're relative, or is it Minato versus Toby Rama baseline?
No.
I don't know.
Huh?
What are we arguing?
It's Minato versus Toby Rama. When I say relative, he's talking about the difficulty of arguing each premise from each side. He's not talking about the comparison of the characters.
Okay.
But that's not. I don't even remember saying that.
You literally did. Whoop just recalled it as well. Like,
You did say it, by the way.
why the f you think I got the topic idea? Why are you being a rat? Like, aren't you the king of? Aren't you?
Seth is the type of person that once there have been rumors spread about you, he is willing to throw you to the wolves and actually inflate and help spread those rumors for the sake of drama, and is willing to do it to his closest friends behind their back. This is evident by how anytime he and a friend stop talking, he instantly talks them on stream for a laugh from his audience. Seth enjoys drama, and he enjoys bringing people down as long as it brings him up. The willingness to humiliate his friends has been showcased multiple times, most notably his first falling out with Chuck and his falling out with Parrot, where he drugged both of them into group calls where he tried to bully Parrot and make fun of him. He did this to Chuck so bad that he made him leave all of his Discord servers and cut ties with him for literal years. If you guys ever wondered why Chuck and Seth stopped working together and collabing all the time, it's literally because of how Seth treated him. It's only recently that Chuck has started interacting with Seth again, but you don't even have to go as far back as Chuck. Even recently, his friend Six has been on the end of Seth's stick. Here you can see Seth talk Six really bad, saying Six isn't intelligent, saying things like he only knows about Naruto and he's not even actually friends with him.
Oh, you want to know something about real Six IQ scaling? Alright, so Swag, like Swag Kage, and Six from Tokyo, we were all on a call, right? And Swag really wants to like make like a podcast thing or something. So I was like, okay, that sounds interesting, right? This is like what the fifth attempt someone's tried to make a podcast with me in it, and then they like, you guys know like my history with like starting a podcast. It just never it never happens for some reason, right? Remember the Seth Clyde podcast, the Chuck podcast, and then Swag's tried to do it like 2 times. So we're back at attempt number 3 here to try to make a podcast, right? And we want to add like 6 to it. And so we were like talking about what we're gonna talk about on the podcast or whatever. And then we started just like talking like, okay, I think for the first one we should talk about like some Naruto shit, because that's like all of Swag's fans are like Naruto fans. And you like talk about Naruto shit first. So we're like, okay, what do we talk about for some Naruto shit? And then he was like, oh, maybe we talk about this or that. And it ended up into a 5-hour argument. I'm not joking. 5-hour argument about if Edo Tenseis have eyes or not. So then, like, I started packing him a bit. I started packing him about how do you like explain depth in a manga panel, because it didn't look like it had any depth. And then Six said, I don't know how to explain depth I don't even know how to explain depth to anybody. And I was like, what in the fuck does that mean? Did you just hear what you said? And bro, like, Six is a real, like, egotistical fat fucking retard. Like, so him saying he doesn't know how to explain depth to try to be like a skeptic to avoid the argument was just like the funniest fucking like L I've ever seen him just slap on himself. So then I started making fun of him, and Swag was making fun of him too. Six thinks he has like an 800 IQ, and then he comes in my DM and he's like, I don't know what the meaning of life is. And I'm like, don't you think you're like a super fucking advanced philosopher, like giga-brained fucking Jimmy Neutron mega mind, like argumentative god, and he doesn't know what the meaning of life is? I'm like, what the fuck are you talking? He's like giving me this Sisyphus rant, like he doesn't even know what it means. Like, I'm like, okay, like he doesn't know like the whole you determine value. He doesn't know that people determine value. Like, things can have value, but he doesn't know like he himself internally determined his own values, or like what he values. He didn't know that. So whenever you think, oh, you know, he has an ego, it's like, Six, I want you to tell me how to explain depth in words. Give me the best explanation of depth right now without looking at Google. And like, you'll start to see the cracks. That's all. That's all I'm saying. Like, he doesn't know. Like, I don't know, dude. He can tell me the intricacies of f***ing Madara's Sharingan and why it has black irises, but he can't tell me how to describe depth. So I don't know. Like, you know, people have egos for different things in life, I suppose. Tell Six unban me from his bum. I'm not in that dumb server. Six is actually just such a retard. The only thing Six is good at in life is literally eating and talking about Naruto, bruh. I don't even know why y'all try to interact with him in his server. He doesn't have anything of value to offer the world. If it's not about a Naruto data book, like, why the are you talking to him? Have you heard him talk about anything else in existence? Like, what the fuck? Why would you ever try to have a conversation with him? What do you gain? Why do you with him then? Cause I upload Naruto content, dumb. The f you mean? What do you mean? Like, what? Cause I upload Naruto videos. Seth, you are who your friends are. He's not my friend. What? You know, Chuck says current Goku is 5D. Yeah, he's on board with the f***ing... Chuck likes forum warrior arguments these days. I don't know what happened. He used to be more innovative. And more like in his lane, and now he's more like, he kind of listens to what, like, okay, so you kind of have like, you kind of have normal people, then you have retards, then you have forum warrior retards, and then you have like the truth, right? Like, I don't, for some reason Chuck just went from like the truth to just forum warrior retard like scaling. Like, he used to think, you know, Buhan stomps Kid Buu and all that, and then I don't know if Discord traumatized him or what, but now he's just like, he listens to all those Kid Buu arguments he used to hate, and now he's doing the same thing with like Afterlife that all these forum warriors do. I don't know what happened to him. Maybe he just lost his confidence. Not sure. Not sure what happened. Six told us how y'all became friends. He said you both debated and that you saw talent in him. It was actually the opposite. When I debated Six, I thought he was a... No, Six is not my successor. Six is only good in Naruto. He could never succeed me. Plus, I need to destroy the community before I leave. We need to make sure it dies. No successor. We burn the community. I take all of your money and we leave. We take all the money and leave. Seth, are you a narcissist? If I was a narcissist, I would not have helped make Six's career. Like, I would not have helped Clyde and Chuck make a career. I could have done everything I've done now without any of those losers, so. You should be a narcissist? Oh yeah? Should I? Should I be a fucking sociopath too, dude? Should I start spitting on homeless people? Like, the fuck's wrong with this guy? He's like trying to groom me into like a demon. He's trying to groom me into like a sociopath. I'm getting groomed. What is this sociopathic grooming? This is almost bad as like the schizo grooming.
Dad's even further, he even talks him on Twitter, as you can see here. But probably the most famous example of Seth's manipulation was the Swag Kage debate that I had. To clarify, this is one of the most misconstrued ideas that has ever been presented about me and got popularized in part because of Seth. But basically, Seth claimed that the reason I freaked out so hard on him during our falling out was because of the Kakashi versus Pain debate I had with Swag Kage. But in truth, it had little to do with the debate itself, but more so was this oncoming storm of literal years of frustration built up at Seth for the nasty shit he subjected me to throughout our quote-unquote friendship. The conversations I had prior to the Swag debate being set up began with Seth messaging me out of the blue one day after he just released a video if I wanted to debate Swag Kage. My immediate reaction was, well, yeah, but why now? And I asked why now because a couple years ago, I was in a call with both Swag and Seth after Swag had just got done debating Kabuki, and I challenged Swag Kage to a debate about Orochimaru versus Tobirama because Swag had tweeted he thought Orochimaru bobbed Tobirama. Seth immediately shut me down and told Swag not to debate me and refused to let me engage with him. I really didn't know why at the time, but years later, Seth literally offered to set up a debate between me and Swag, which made it really sus. The suspiciousness of this offer grew after I agreed to do it days later, after Seth approached me again and told me that he had actually been giving Swag arguments, but he then specified that he would not be giving him any specific or weirdly detailed arguments as well, only to give him a quote-unquote false confidence and a quote-unquote I got your back kind of guy. If you pay attention to the wording in the screenshots, Seth specifically put back in quotes and literally says basic 6 will give him arguments. I also specifically remember talking in a call with 6 as well, where he told me he would only be giving him simple arguments to boost his confidence. So the message was clear here. Seth wasn't actually going to give Swag any significant information to make him do better in the debate. The whole idea about false confidence and giving basic arguments is to make Swag think he is getting good arguments, but in actuality isn't something that is particularly useful. This, of course, was not actually what's happening. Turns out 6 and another judge named Jaja were all preparing Swag to the best of their ability and studying my arguments prior to the debate. I don't even really care that they were preparing this way, to be honest with you guys. I'm fine that Swag did his best to research and to prepare. What pissed me off is the fact that Seth lied to me about the preparation and what happened in the aftermath of the debate. One of the major things that set me off was 6 posted the video of me and Swag's debate and exposed his DMs at the end, where it actually showed that 6 was giving Swag arguments mid-debate. But the real issue is Seth for not telling me who the judges were going to be until I literally joined in the voice chat. Judges who actively dislike me as well, like 6 and Jaja. Jaja being somebody who I banned from Discord years ago for being an asshole and a racist. And I had beaten 6 on Kakashi versus Pain literally a few weeks prior. Seth also made sure I wasn't allowed to stream the debate for fear that I would get fed arguments.
Bubble. What's up, Noodles? So, here's some rules to the debate that we all agree to. If you can decide if you agree with it or not, but rule number 1, no streaming, because the people in the chat could interfere, give an argument, or something could be weirdly said that might need to be retracted from a recording.
even though that's exactly what happened with Swag, and for allowing multiple biased judges that were preparing their own arguments through Swag to debate me, which makes it so that even if I do beat Swag, because the judges' arguments are the ones being attacked, they would never vote for me regardless, because what judge is going to admit that their own arguments were wrong, especially in this circumstance? Seth kept me in the dark about a bunch of details until the day of the debate that he admitted himself that he had instigated, much similar to how he instigated the Parrot and Swag Kage debate as well. And I even remember talking to Surfbone that I had felt really weird about the whole ordeal because of how little I knew of what arguments were being given to Swag, or why they even really needed to give him arguments in the first place. Seth also wanted me to debate as soon as possible, and I had told him that I had work that day, but he didn't care and he wanted me to debate right then. And seeing as I didn't want to miss out on the opportunity to debate Swag, I went into the debate without any of my notes prepared, literally went off memory and had to leave mid-debate because I was running late for work. But yeah, this in all reality is just an example of Seth manipulating me into a bad situation, setting me up for failure. But honestly, it's not even close to the reason I went off on Seth. The debate was just the last straw. The real reason I separated from Seth, the point where I began recording my DM calls with him, was because he literally doxed my full name in town and sent it to a Discord user named Jade, who is a known prolific doxer, and Seth knew he was a doxer and even tried to defend him for doxing. This situation got so bad that it eventually even led to my family members, including my mother and sister, to get doxed. As you can see in these screenshots, Seth is literally admitting he knows my full name and was trying to get Jade to call the Little Caesars I worked at the time to get me fired. There was a situation in an extremely sketchy and rat debate server called Rakuzan where Aeroflame had actually gave Jade the permission to message everyone in announcements. This would lead to Jade announcing inside of a server where there were thousands of people who could witness my mother's phone number being posted up there for everyone to view. This sick is the same person that Seth tried to defend for doxing, posting my innocent and extremely loving mother and exposing information that was completely and utterly unwarranted. It's bullshit that it happened, and it's bullshit that Seth tries to hide behind other people to defend himself. Jade and a bunch of other people were also doxing many of my other family members' names in chat, and even started putting their Facebook profile pictures on the server. Jade is the guy who specifically exposed this information, but there were other users like this guy named Tigga who also participated by putting my mom's Facebook profile picture as her Discord avatar. Tigga apologized for this later, but I literally do not give a shit. It was a horrendous thing to do, and a sorry is not going to cut it. Seth likes to claim I doxed myself on Instagram by commenting under Clyde's public post with my real name.
Dude, you know how I allegedly doxed him? By him publicly commenting with his real name on his Instagram under Clyde's when Leon looks at his Clyde's Instagram and sees him commenting, bro. So
yeah, that was literally
So, bro, we whipped out the grabber link for that one. Like, it wasn't his public name on his Instagram on Clyde's DMs.
But there's a blatant issue with this. He literally sent my town name and workplace to Jade, neither of which is information ever available on my Instagram. This is information Seth had for knowing me on a personal level. I had actually gotten paid by Seth at one point from a calc I did for him, and had sent my PayPal to him, which of course had my name on it, and I specifically told him not to spread that information around, to which he replied, "Of course, I think it's disgusting that people would do that." Seth was one of the few people who knew my real name, and nobody else would have realized that name unless Seth had said something about it. Seth also tried to blame this other doxer named Leon who was friends with Jade. Seth and Arrow claimed Leon was the one to send my Instagram to him. This is a lie, and Seth is using Leon as a scapegoat because here are the DMs between Seth and Clyde that show Seth was the one who was asking for the post I commented under with my real name on it. This proves that Seth did not have the information and was intentionally looking for it so he could send it to Jade to get me doxxed, and even if it was Leon who ended up being the one to send it to Seth, that does not justify Seth making a whole plan to dox me and get me fired from my job. Leon and Kroos, or Isto, which is the name he used to go by, actually also sent me their DMs with Seth because I wanted to know if there was any actual proof Leon sent the screenshots, but none of the screenshots Leon or Kroos sent me showed that they had been the ones to find my Instagram, nor would they even know what name to look for. Also, considering the fact Seth was literally asking Clyde to find out what my name was on Instagram proves to me Seth had the intention of doxing me. What other reason would he even need to know that for? Seth literally wanted and tried to get my Discord account and server deleted, wanted to try to get my YouTube channel deleted, and was even going so far as that he had asked Jade to call my literal workplace to see if he could get me fired. Jade even commented about this on Seth's YouTube channel, where Jade says that Seth was literally trying to ruin my dreams and aspirations, which is consistent with the screenshots shown here, especially the screenshot where Seth claims he knows I want to pursue YouTube as a career and he wants to make sure that I stay permanently banned off the platform. This is entirely within Seth's character, considering he was also telling Arrow to get in contact with the girl from the Surfbone situation's current boyfriend so they can try and get him into legitimate real life trouble, which means Seth telling Surfbone to, quote, leave this thing alone, never talk about this again, was foreshadowing that Seth was legitimately trying to get Surfbone in real life trouble despite not knowing shit about the situation. To show even more hard evidence that Seth is a doxer, I privately recorded Seth talking about webcam Parrot falling a time period which Seth had labeled the Cold War.
Noodles might be interested in this as well. So, I thought Parrot was in on the Cold War, so I was starting to dig up information on Parrot, right? And let me just tell you, certain individual was able to give his full name right off the bat, and I was like, what the fuck? So I actually know Parrot's full name because of this individual. So it's like, damn, they were like going in on him, and they don't even have like a reason to, you know, like I was like to get ready for the Cold War and like look into this guy, but bruh, they were just ready to go. Like, I'm not gonna lie, but
yeah.
No.
I think that is creepy. That is kind of weird. So, wait, does Parrot know that they have this information or no?
No.
What the f? So then that means they could easily have my information as well.
I wasn't gonna dox him in my video, but I was gonna like drop his initials. But
what?
Yeah.
What is the Cold War? What were they gonna do to you? Why were you going this far?
Bro, it was war, man.
The Cold War was a time when Seth had heard rumors that I was supposedly going to upload an exposed video on him, which was not true at the time, and because of his paranoia, he started gathering information on both me and Parrot just in case someone popped off. As you can see, Seth literally says he hired a, quote, certain someone, end quote, to dig up information on Parrot in preparation for the Cold War, and ended up finding out his full name. When questioned about this on stream with Clyde, Seth denied altogether that he was digging information up on him, which is just a blatant lie. You can literally hear the say it.
Yes, Noodles, we had beef. We were scheming against each other. But bro, I'm not Eisen. I don't control everyone or some weird They do what the do, okay? You can't label that with me. Okay, confirming that Leon was trying to get Noodles fired. Wow. Leon was trying to get Noodles fired. Crazy. They hate him. Not my doing. The second clip is Seth literally admitting that he was digging up information on Parrot. No. You know, okay, so you know what this is? I wasn't digging up anything on Parrot.
I thought Parrot was in on the Cold War, so I was starting to dig up information on Parrot, right? And let me just tell you, certain individual was able to give his full name.
Seth then says I wasn't going to dox him or anything, just show his initials on one of my videos. Why would he want to even post his initials to begin with? Why did he feel the need to get his full name and hire someone to find it if the intention wasn't to dox him? It doesn't make sense, and the consistency is way too high at that point to deny Seth is a malicious doxer whose actions led to my innocent family members, my mother getting their face and even phone number exposed to Discord users filled with doxers and sketchy people. He doxed my town and my workplace. He tried to destroy me financially both on YouTube and at Little Caesars, and he wanted to ruin my aspirations to be a YouTuber, all because he heard a rumor that I was going to drop an exposed video. I don't even care if I was going to drop an exposed video. These kinds of reactions are completely unjustified and horrifically immoral. If you guys had any idea what kind of trouble that he has caused other people over the years, this wouldn't surprise you even a little bit. To add to Seth's doxing tendencies even further, as I mentioned previously, Seth defended Jade Leon in the argument I had with Surfbone, acknowledging that Jade and Leon had doxed each other previously, but because they had only doxed each other, that was okay. Well, Seth, it's not okay to dox each other. In fact, that's pretty horrible, and Leon and Jade weren't just doxing each other either. I have multiple screenshots where Jade and Leon had actually tried to extort this underage kid named Justin, and they had actually doxed his address and threatened to come to his house if he didn't pay them money.
about this IP address shit. I've been doing this since Black Ops 2.
No,
You
Leon,
wanna
he's
see
my
how quick-
Leon. He's my neighbor. Leon, chill, he's my neighbor.
No, Leon,
you're
you
the
don't
one that-
understand.
No, let me go.
Please don't dox him. You're the kid with AT&T Wi-Fi, right? If you
No,
mess with Jade again, if you hold on. If you mess with Jade again, I'm gonna have your internet offline for the rest of the pandemic. Do you understand me? Do you understand me? You see how that little Wi-Fi logo is going offline on top
See,
of your
Mr.
shit
Flynn,
right
my
now?
client is clearly.
Everyone be quiet.
Damn.
Justin, you see how your
Leon
little
behind
Wi-Fi, logo is like blinking off right now? If you mess with Jade again, it's not gonna come back online. Do you understand? Do you understand? Do you think this is a joke? I know how to do this. I've been doing this for years. So you're gonna apologize to Jade, or you're not getting.
Oh my god. This is
understand?
not my client.
Your honor. What is going on?
Do you understand? Yes or
Roy,
no?
Roy, just step back.
So, Justin, are you gonna?
Listen. I don't have a VPN, so I'm not saying anything, Liam.
Yeah, you're right.
Nah,
Leon,
you
you
good,
go
bro.
ahead.
I don't do that.
Yeah, Leon, go ahead.
That's not how it works. That's not how it works. So, Justin, are you gonna apologize, or do you want me to keep going? I can turn it back. I can turn it back on if
Makeout
you
couldn't
say
finish
sorry.
his point.
I
though.
could turn
You
it
guys
back
cut
on
him off.
if you say sorry. I can just turn your back on.
I'm sorry.
Okay, good. So next
Wait,
time,
no,
next time we learn a lesson, right? We don't threaten to dox people, especially if we don't know what we're doing. The difference between me and you is I've been doing this for a very long time. So
I have experience, you said.
if you keep on messing with Jade, this is what's gonna happen. You don't get internet for the rest of your little break that you're off of, and this is what you're gonna do. You're gonna write a 5-page apology if this happens again. So what I want you to do now, so I stop, I want you to delete your Discord account in front of everybody right here. Go ahead.
Relax.
Yeah, Leon, back up.
Relax. Justin, you don't have to. You don't have to delete your Discord, but please don't try and dox people.
Okay,
if you dox someone again, I will let Leon know, and Leon will. I'll have Leon shut your internet off for good. You'll have
Girl said, "Let me be a father to this."
So Justin, do you understand?
Say it again.
I said, if I catch wind of someone trying to dox someone again, I will let Leon know, and he will send you back to the Stone Age. You'll be stuck playing with sticks and grass outside. Are we clear?
You
As
need
we
to
can see,
understand that
clearly.
this internet thing is not a joke. Look, if I got upset enough, I could make money off your entire family. That's just, let me let you know right there. I don't do this, but hey, look, me and my on the deep web earlier, we buy guns on this. You do not want to do that, bro. You do not want to do that, bro. Be very careful who you mess with, because it's not very hard to go ahead and get sent a bunch of shit to your house, right? Shit that I don't even have to pay for, that niggas will come do shit to you for. So I'm gonna go ahead and turn your back online. But if you harass Jade again, threaten to dox anyone on Discord again, you will not get back on Discord ever again. You know what I'm saying? I don't do this TJ.
Government did try to.
You know what
He
I'm saying?
says TJX says he has the bins and methods. He's punching right now.
So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna turn your online. But if I wake up and I get another report, you're not getting back online again.
Oh my god.
It's that simple, bro.
Leon is punching right now. Wow.
He said, "Me and my boys are professional hackers."
He's our scammer.
What is that now? That's like 4-0 for.
The government tried to ban me from the.
No, we played a guilty. That's 0-3-1. I don't care.
And Jade actually ended up being the one to dox me and my family as well. So for Seth to defend actual criminals, the same criminals I warned him about, the same criminals who stole money from Carthu, the same criminals he refused to acknowledge or outcast them from his server, despite Seth admitting they were criminals. Whereas Surfbone, who was not a criminal and had no definitive proof of being one, was slandered, embarrassed, overall run through the mud by a large portion of the community thanks to Seth's actions. As I said before, Seth refuses to take accountability for any of these things. He refuses to do it because he is an egotistical narcissist. He refuses to take accountability for the fact he got Parrot's full name, and verbatim stated on recording he was preparing for the Cold War, where he wanted to annihilate me and Parrot. He refused to apologize to Surfbone for any of the quote-unquote boy accusations, but he wasn't calling him a rapist. He distincts between those two terms. He said boy didn't actually mean he was a rapist, so he wasn't calling Surfbone a rapist. Like, I don't know what you guys think when you hear the term rapey boy, but to me that sounds like you're calling him a rapist, buddy. Even when Seth does admit something, he always shows some kind of caveat that tries to shift the blame off himself. In the case where I made him apologize to Surfbone, he refused to acknowledge that he was wrong for anything else, and only said he'd apologize for making fun of his appearance, which was the bottom of the barrel things to apologize for. Not only would he instigate people, but he would also just straight up bully the shit out of you. There were multiple times where Seth used to bully people so bad that he would make them cry on call, most notably a Discord user named Any.
Like define talking shit. Define talking shit.
Just went out.
Define talking shit. You said it's not, so define it. You need to Google something colloquial, nigga?
Nobody out.
Do you need to Google something colloquial, nigga? You okay? Just define it.
I said you're lagging out.
Yeah, you're being a total pussy, like I called you out for, by the way. You gonna turn on your voice changer again, nigga, to sound tougher? Turn on your voice changer again.
You're cutting off.
No, I'm not, nigga.
Yeah, what I was asking is how is it talking shit? Like I was being.
And
genuine.
I responded with define talking shit.
If you guys haven't seen those clips before, now you have. There's also just plenty of times in his old server where he used to use a bunch of slurs to add even more consistency. Seth also literally talks all of his friends behind his back. He did this with me and Happy. I got Seth to come on stream to react to me and Happy's debate, and Seth said that he thought I won, but when Happy got him into a DM call, Seth literally just started backpedaling everything he said. I also told him after Happy had uploaded the video of their DM call, I wasn't mad at him and I knew he was trying to play both sides of the ball, and Seth gave me this as a response, claiming that I overestimated how much he thinks of me. He said this for literally no reason, was just demeaning me because he got caught in another lie. He also talked swag behind his back. He's also talked both Clyde and Chuck to the point where they stopped being friends with him, which happened on multiple occasions. He also talked Parrot, who used to be his best friend, on stream for literally no reason for hours. Overall, he just seems like a man-child that values debating and debate skills way too much and enjoys seeing his friends get into arguments for his own entertainment and any drama that comes along with it. It's incredibly immature and a good way to lose friendships. You'll notice that over the years, Seth has seemingly never managed to maintain any long-term friends, and that's because of how he treats them. Seth used to be friends with me, Clyde, Nairobi, Webcam Parrot, Chuck, just to name a few, and we have all had issues with him and separated ties at multiple points. Seth might try and claim we're all bad people, but the common denominator in all of these situations is Seth. Seth has been the cause of all these bridges burning, and there's no hiding that. I suspect in the future Seth's relationships with Six and Swag will decline as well, so we'll see if my prediction comes true. So, before I talk about this next session, I just want to clarify something. I would have never, ever brought this up in my life on YouTube. I do not want this information being out there. To this day, I still don't want to talk about it, even a little bit, because mostly how recent and devastating the situation was for me. But considering the circumstances I'm in, I feel like I literally have to discuss it. I feel like I have to talk about it. I don't want to talk about this because I know some of my family watches my videos and I don't want them worrying about me, and I don't want them getting upset, and I don't want to talk about it because I'm still upset about it. This is something that has permanently affected me and is indescribably the worst emotion I have ever had to deal with in my life. It was easily the most traumatic event that still messes with me to even this day. So, about 2 years ago, I found out my ex-girlfriend was cheating on me in our long-term relationship. And I ended up throwing her out and throwing all her stuff out of my apartment into the literal raining street. I'm not going to go into any details beyond this about it, because if there was a time I was at my lowest, I would consider at this point it's still extremely sensitive for me to talk about it. After this had happened, I became extremely depressed and lost, to be honest with you. For around 6 months of my life, I had looked to working out, smoking weed, and chatting with online friends as my way of coping with the situation. It's also worth saying that I never considered doing drugs before and didn't like drinking at all until this point. I literally changed as a person in desire and comfort. Seth and Clyde were some of the few people I had told about the situation because at the time I felt like talking about it was the only way for me to confront the internal anguish I had felt. And it did help a little bit, of course. Just talking about it won't make the depression suddenly go away or anything. When me and Seth had our falling out, the first thing Seth did after I told him I was going to post the doxing and all the bullshit he did with me and Clyde, he would make a Discord server where probably like 50 to 100 people joined call to hear Seth, Six, and Arrow horrendously make fun of me for getting cheated on and for being depressed.
No, you mean the girl who cheated on him and sent nudes to his coworker, and then like he got back with her.
Oh, what am I missing? Arrow.
Is that dead end? Hold on, Arrow. You gotta put in your good mic for this.
Hey, bro, your mic is like fucked.
What the is it?
In my debate with Arrow over Surfbone and the false accusations, Arrow also started attacking me personally by bringing this kind of stuff up.
Noodle said, "I'm so depressed, bro, but whatever happens, I love you."
Arrow.
You think I don't have that? You better start running your mouth.
Arrow.
I chose to ignore it for the sake of Surfbone and not allowing Arrow to get me riled up so I could stay focused on my logic and my arguments. For anyone that has ever been cheated on by a significant other, I know how you feel, and I'm sure you can imagine how people saying this kind of to you right after it happened would make you feel. Arrow also mocked me again for being depressed, but to be honest with you, this just proves these kinds of people are just childish in an attitude anyway. Depression and mental illness is not something you make fun of, and anyone who even knows a little bit about what these things can do to a person knows it's not a laughing matter. Seth stooping this low is unsurprising, considering he's made fun of people's mental health in the past, most notably when he made fun of Clyde for being suicidal and said all of his mods have nameable mental illnesses. What's ironic about this is Seth himself had been depressed in the past, as he admitted it to Trini in his DMs with him, and he also admitted to Omar, the animator of the Naruto vs. Ichigo project, where he claimed that Omar was trying to abuse a, quote, mentally ill person. So the fact that Seth knows depression and knows how mental illness can affect people proves he should know better than to make fun of people who also suffer from mental illness. To be clear with you guys, I'm not depressed now, and I'm basically happier than I ever have been as it currently stands, but back then I was at my lowest. So Seth basically did all the to me during the worst time period in my life. A couple other things I want to talk about is that you guys will notice I use screenshots from this deleted user AD0ED2C2. Some of you may question whether or not this is Seth, but as you will see in all of me, Clyde, and Surfbone's videos, all of which are linked below, we all have our own separate DMs and messages with this account that are all seemingly Seth. Well, just to prove it even further, I found a screenshot of the Mike Tyson versus Bruce Lee thumbnail Seth had sent me. You'll notice the date Seth sent me the message was on February 21st, but the date the actual video was uploaded was on March 5th, 2021, 12 days later. Another way I can prove it is that Seth had actually paid me through PayPal in these DMs when I did a calc for one of his videos a couple years ago. I actually went back in my PayPal transaction history and found back in 2020 when SethTheProgrammer sent me $40, which corresponds to what Seth also sent me a DM. So yeah, these are me and Seth's DMs, and he can try and hide from the fact all he likes. He might try and claim we photoshopped it, but what's funny about this is that Seth actually tried to get Jade to Photoshop some fake scans before as well. But yeah, just to go ahead and clarify, I'm not a Photoshop master or something. I didn't fake any screenshots or recordings. I literally took screen recordings on my phone. And a couple other things, Seth tried to claim I was trying to extort him on stream, and I'll just go ahead and debunk this. In the clip that Seth references, there is no context to suggest I'm talking about Seth whatsoever. This is just a random out-of-context clip Seth recorded when I was in call with the Bleach Hub, where I made a joke about extortion. Dark humor, I know, but it was about a guy named Jared, not Seth. You can hear it on recording, I say Jared. You never hear me say Seth in the whole clip, and Clyde also knows that entire accusation was BS, and he will defend me on it. There are no screenshots where I message Seth, tell him to give me something in exchange, or I'll blackmail him. There's no proof of that. He doesn't have me threatening him. Just look at my behavior to Seth in these DMs. Here I am talking with Seth about shouting me out on a video, and I told him that would be really dope. Also asked for a shout out instead of payment for the Bruce Lee and Mike Tyson video I wrote for him. I simply asked to get a shout out at the end, and he didn't even have to pay me. That was my way of getting a shout out. All he has to do is say my name in the video. Not only did he not shout me out, he didn't credit me, and he didn't pay me either. So yeah, just add that onto the Omar interview if you guys haven't seen that. go and check it out. Link will be in the description. I'm just basically going to have any video that's getting uploaded relevant to this in the description, so make sure to go there after the video if you want to see some other people's stories. I also have the screen caps that Seth is literally just a clout chaser. This isn't surprising if you know Seth, but yeah, here's 2 different screenshots that can prove it. Seth has a massive ego, which is actually one of the reasons why he was jealous that Swag Kage hit 1 million subs before him. Yeah, you didn't want me to bring that one up, did you, Seth? Jealous of Swag? Anyways, guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. This has been a long time coming and has been cultivating over the years, finally coming to a head today. To be honest with you guys, I always knew I would release this video at some point after Seth doxed me, but it was just postponed constantly and for way longer than I wanted it to, due to the fear of me getting overshadowed by Seth's audience and due to Seth threatening me financially and on my social media platforms. But with Clyde and Omar and Surfbone backing me, I felt like we just had this insurmountable amount of evidence that Seth just literally can't deny or lie about any longer. There is no disputing Seth has been a terrible human being. It may seem like I'm making this video out of spite, and to be completely honest with you, this has gotten personal for me. It was personal for me the moment my family got brought into it and has been personal for me ever since. That being said, that is not my only reason for making the video. I'm also releasing this video to warn the future people that are going to be interacting with Seth to keep him at an arm's distance so he can't manipulate you as well. This especially goes for people like Swag Kage and Six that are close to them. I hope those guys did see this video and recognize Seth for the terrible person he is. Seth asked me to apologize to him on stream if I ever wanted to be friends with him again. So I just wanted to take this moment to apologize to absolutely nobody. The King of Naruto does what the he wants, and if Seth wants to come get slammed on Tobirama versus Minato or Kokuzu versus Pain, I'm down anytime, buddy. We can do it on stream. Anyways, guys, just to add the final cherry on top, the frosting on the cake, I have a huge announcement moving forward with the channel. Firstly, me and Clyde will start doing streams and probably a podcast together featuring most likely MMA and anime content. Not really for sure about the details yet, but more importantly, me and Clyde have also agreed to collaborate with Omar, the head animator of Naruto vs. Ichigo, where we will all team up to help fund and finish the Naruto vs. Ichigo video that Seth promised and failed to deliver. We're going to have animation and all. Here's just a few of the pre-designed stuff that they did. Looks really cool either way, but I just figured I'd show that to you guys. But yeah, make sure to join the Discord down below if you want any updates on the future drama that comes from this video or just simply the Naruto vs. Ichigo project. And you also get to interact with my fastly growing community on there. That being said, I will see you all in the next one. Peace.